What's up, fam? This is Jenny Jam from Fret Sisters, where we feature female musicians and strings. Got a video? Tag us on at Fret Sisters on IG or at Fret Sisters1 on Facebook using hashtag Fret Sisters. Peace and love.
What is good, everybody, and welcome to Fret Sisters Presents Between Frets, a space where female musicians meet and discuss all things music. I am Shawn Marshall, and we have an iconic show today. What I mean iconic is because we have a legend with us today. Her name is Cheryl Cooley. She is an accomplished guitarist and in one of the most popular all-ladies band, Klymaxx. And she's been gigging and touring and with over 35 years. And oh my goodness, hello, how are you today?
Oh, great. Oh, hey, I am so glad to be here on the show. Thank you. Oh.
Well, I did got some help from my partners and any questions that they want like to ask you. So it's like, this is going to be a very interesting show because I actually had them to help me with some of these questions.
Okay, don't worry.
So, like, how did you learn guitar? Like, were you self-taught or you took lessons?
Well, I took lessons. The way that happened was my sister was married to a jazz musician by the name of Hubert Laws, and he was a flautist, but he also had a guitar. Now, let me step back a bit and say that for some odd reason, my parents always gave me a toy guitar every other Christmas. So I had one of these toy guitars, and I pulled out my guitar, and he pulled out his guitar, and my guitar was accidentally tuned to a TV theme song. And my sister just jumped up and said, "Hey, why don't we get Cheryl some guitar lessons?" And so then it was on and cracking. So I had some, private guitar lessons. I took them all through elementary school, junior high school, and just, played in different bands and stuff like that. Just the usual route of becoming a musician.
So did your brother-in-law influence you to play guitar, or you got somebody else that kind of like inspired you to play?
Well, like I said, my parents always gave me a toy guitar for Christmas for, I don't know, maybe they had psychic abilities and thought Cheryl's going to be a guitarist one day. But there was always some toy guitar around me. And then when I saw, some of the rock bands back in the day, on TV, then, I would, of course, imitate playing guitar also. So it was kind of a fascination for me since I had a toy guitar and they were on TV playing guitar. It just kind of was a pretend thing that, I kind of visualized myself doing. So let me just say one thing that, your thoughts or what you image yourself to do, be, and have really does make a difference, because who knows that those energies, those mental energies or those vibrational energies wasn't also a momentum for me to actually start learning how to play guitar. So all of that kind of ties together, really. So no, there was nobody in my immediate family that was a musician or played an instrument. I mean, that was the only exposure that I had to a real musician playing real music.
Well, today's society, we had like social media, but back then the experience as a female musician is way different. From back then, like, what was your experience as a female musician?
Oh my gosh. First of all, it was not normal. A lot of times people would tease me about carrying this big old guitar, because I had a big acoustic guitar, as a little kid. So I had this big acoustic guitar I was carrying all over the place. So of course they made fun of me about that. And, they just thought it was a fad that I was going to go through. So they weren't quite sure if, to take me seriously or not. But, they saw that I kept carrying it every year. So, at a moment there, it was like, maybe she's serious about this. So, yeah, I did get teased, but I'm going to say I had the gift of being naive and not really knowing that maybe they were trying to discourage me, because I was determined. I knew that I was going to be a musician, up on stage one day.
Wow. Oh my God, I'm like trying not to be speechless. But well, when you was touring, like, did you have like any memorable moments that like made you like a big outbreak of your career?
Oh, well, okay. Let me answer that kind of in a different way because, okay, like I said, I knew I wanted to be a musician. I was always looking for wherever the opportunity was going to happen. I mean, I was even, on the bus going to school, and I would be looking for somebody to get on the bus and say, "Here, Cheryl, here's your recording contract." So I felt that it was going to happen. Well, I don't know. I had a daydream, nightmare, daymare, whatever you want to call it, and I actually saw myself on stage performing with a band. And saw the lights going. I was on stage singing. I was on stage playing my guitar. I was getting ready to step up to the microphone and, sing my first note. But before I did that, I looked over to my right at the band, and something about them just looked really, odd. Just, not bad odd. Just kind of like, that's interesting. And then I turned back around and started singing my first note. Well, fast forward some, 15 years, I guess. And, the band Klymaxx was performing at the, Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles. The music was playing, the lights were going. All of a sudden, it was like, oh, wow, here's the dream. The dream is coming true. And so I thought to myself, well, let me look over to the right to see what it was that was so unusual about the band when I'm getting ready to step up to this microphone. And when I turned and looked, it was an all-female band, which, of course, at the time I had the dream was not a conception in my mind, but to actually see it realized once I stepped into the microphone, I realized my dream had come true. So the elements of being a musician, of being a famous musician, an active musician, a determined, a charting musician was kind of always in my mind, my spirit, my vibration. I just knew that I knew that it was going to happen. So when a contract was presented to me, I was expecting it. I don't know if that sounds egotistical, and it's not meant to be, but it was such a strong dream, such a strong vision for me that I was expecting it. So when it happened, I didn't, I knew it was coming. I was like, oh, I'm so glad it finally happened. So interesting enough, how the contract even happened was that, playing in different bands and clubs. I was also working at a bank. And I was playing with this all-female band, Klymaxx. And so I was telling my supervisor about, hey, there's this all-girl band I'm playing in, and we have this promo picture. And so she said, well, if you give me a demo tape, I'll give it to my uncle. He's a producer for Peebo Bryson, who was quite popular at the time. So we gave him a demo tape, and he listened to it, and he didn't like it. But now let's remember, when one door closes, another door opens. So he was having lunch with a lady by the name of Margaret Nash, who was one of the vice presidents at Solar Records. And so he said, I got this demo tape of these girls. I can't do nothing with them. Maybe you could do something. So she listened to it, and she lost her mind. She thought it was the greatest thing. And so we were actually signed to Solar Records within, 2 to 4 months. So I always tell people, don't let people discourage you. Keep pushing, keep going, keep whatever. If you believe in your talent, it will eventually happen for you. I know that didn't answer any of your questions, huh?
No, that's very encouraging. That's what I kind of needed that. Okay, I needed that. But I remember I've been like stuck with music when I was like 3 or 4 years old, when Tina Marie was like inspired me to sing. And I remember watching y'all on Soul Train.
Right.
And y'all get to perform in Soul Train. A lot of people say like, if you perform in Soul Train or anything that deal with Soul Train, you made it. Like how? That's what a lot of people. That's what I was dreaming that I was like, one day I will play at Soul Train. And you actually got that experience to perform that. And like, how was your experience with that?
Well, like you, I had aspired to play on Soul Train too, because I watched it growing up too, and it was like, oh, I wish that one day I could play on Soul Train. Getting up every Saturday morning and watching it and everything. So it was a, it was a wish in a sense. I didn't have any thoughts of it would or would not happen. It was just kind of a wish kind of thing. So to actually be told that you're getting ready to play on Soul Train was like, wow, I guess you better be careful what you wish for. So it just so happens that the studio that they record Soul Train at is like, maybe 10 miles from me, maybe not even that much, probably 4 miles from my house. So, the limo drives up in front of my house and picks me up and drives me to the studio. And we walk on, we do the whole makeup and hair thing. And we walk on the set. And, what you see on TV and what's in reality behind the scenes can be two different things. So it was like, wow, we're in a warehouse. Wow, it's not sexy at all. So, but as we walk forward to the stage itself, then we can get into the vibration of the energy of how, wow, we're really on soundtrack. And, the way they filmed it is that, you film the songs, whatever your songs are, you film the songs. Usually it's 2 songs. You film the 2 songs. And then they get you out of there. It's not like you're sitting there for the whole hour show. You get to see the dancers and all of that. You're just there to do your 2 songs, be interviewed, go home. But it was a great experience. It really was. Don Cornelius came and he talked to us and asked us about, how we got started and everything. So it was like a moment, like, oh, this is like, wow.
Man, that's kind of like was a dream, and I wish Soul Train would be back on.
I know. I mean, there was so many groups and bands and artists and singers that I know I wouldn't have ever been able to see had they not been on Soul Train. So it definitely was, a platform that needed to happen and should still happen, because there's we have the internet and all of that, and you can see how, some of the artists' performance, but to actually see, other people enjoying the artists and dancing to the music and all of that, it really makes a big effect on how your audience or your viewing or your even your music purchasers, how they go about, collecting your music or supporting you as an artist. I mean, they want to see you, they want to hear you talk, they want to, just kind of get a feeling that, somehow or another you're their next door neighbor.
Well, a lot of us are gearheads, and we always like to ask our artists, like, can you share the listeners your main rig or any endorsements that you have and stuff like that?
Yeah. It's funny because I don't have any endorsements, for whatever reason. It just hasn't happened for me. But I have played through a Roland JC 120 since high school or whenever they first came out. I always played through a JC something, whether it's a JC 50, 60, 100, 120, whatever. It was always a JC something, a jazz chorus by Roland. I always played through one. Now my effects, my pedal effects, again, I'm a Roland head. You always use Boss pedals, that's just been my thing. Whatever they have out, I use Boss pedals. Right now I'm using what is a GT8, I think it is. And I've had it for, I don't know, when they first came out, 10 years ago? and I don't know, maybe it might be less than that, but I'm going to play it until all of a sudden it says, I'm retired. I can't go on. And then as far as guitars, now I have the same guitar that I had in high school that I bought for $600 brand new, which is a Gibson Les Paul Custom. Yes, I still have it. Now, I don't take it out much because, now, of course, it's quite valuable. And the last time I took it out, some guys eyed it like they were going to take it. So I figured, well, I guess I'll leave it. So on stage, I play a Telecaster, a Fender Telecaster. Fender Telecaster Squire. Now, that guitar I got out of the pawn shop for $150, and I've had it since the 80s. and it's got the grungy whatever, the funk feel that I really like, because I also have another like telly type body that's a American, oh gosh, I forgot the name of it, American, anyway, it's just like a Telecaster body. I want to say it's American Standard. That guitar cost me $2,000, but I don't like playing it like I like playing the $150 guitar. Now, when I do studio work, yeah, I'll take the more expensive guitar because it has a better intonation. But when I play live, I just go ahead and do the $150 guitar and just throw on some effects and, have a good time with it. Now, on the pedal board, I don't use that many sounds. I mean, I use a chorus and a distortion and a wah-wah, and that's pretty much it. There's like, I don't know, some 2,000 different sounds on it, and I'm never going to use them. But I kind of found the one that really gives me, what I like is a fat sound. I know that with the funk style, it's got to cut through, but I like having a round sound to really make the rhythm fill the groove, fill the song, and not just be a thin sounding type song, playing. Now the strings, I try to get whatever's on sale.
Of course, yes. I feel the same way.
Of course, I do the Ernie Ball. I don't know. I think it's the lime green ones that start with a 10. I usually play a 10 gauge because since I do break them easily, I try to use a really fat gauge. Now, also, they tell me that what is it? The bigger the string, the bigger the sound, physics and all of that. So, I go with a 10. Sometimes I do an 11, or sometimes, it's very seldom do I do a 9. It's either a 10 or 11. So that's pretty much my gear. I don't have a lot of other stuff. I try to do as minimal as possible because I don't want my crew being upset with me because I have 5 amps and 20 guitars. So, I try to have as little bit as possible. I have 2 guitars on stage in case I break a string, then I go to the other guitar. But pretty much I keep the one guitar up there playing through the entire set. And, the sets are anywhere from between 15 minutes and, 90 minutes, depending on whatever the promoter wants at the time.
Do you have any advice to give to like an aspiring female musician that wants to break into the music industry?
The first thing I always say is, know what you want. First of all, because a lot of people are like, okay, I want this today. Next week, I want this today. You really got to be consistent about what it is that you want to accomplish. Plan is stick to what that goal. Want to play clubs every weekend. Play clubs every weekend. If that's where you're happiest at, do that. If your thing is, being a session musician and doing recordings, then do that. But kind of have your feet settled into what it is that you want to do. Now, if you're one of the versatile type musicians and you can go from, studio to live to, I don't know, whatever, programming to all the other stuff that's out there, then that's great. But, you always want to be a master at something. You don't want to just be a jack of all trades and not really have a solid solid talent that you know that you can do. Now, I applaud the people that have all kinds of talents and all kinds of instruments, and they can play every instrument on the stage. For me, that's not me. I'm strictly guitar. Now, if I get on a keyboard, I'm only going to play what I learned in college. Only farther than that, and if I have to play the bass, I'm going to play the bass like I play guitar, probably all, lopsided and not, correct form and all that. So, I applaud people that can play multiple instruments. That's just not me. But, if you have a goal, if you know that you want to be a professional musician, learn all you can about it. Learn, get on the internet. The internet is your friend. Read stuff, look at videos. You never stop learning. Even now for me, that I've been in the business for so long, there's never a time where I can say, I know it all. I don't have to learn anymore. There's always something new to learn. Learn. Talk to other musicians. Talk to musicians that are where you want to go, and ask them what they did, how they did it, what they, what their shoulds and shouldn'ts. Definitely find out what their shouldn'ts are, because you don't want to make the same mistakes that they did. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but at least you know what the warning signs are. But the biggest thing is to not give up, know what you want to attain, and, don't let anybody discourage you. I mean, the thing that I am so saddened by with female musicians is that they allow people to discourage them from attaining their goal. I'm sorry to say, especially their men counterparts. Whether it's their brother, their cousin, their husband, I don't know what they want to call it, they allow them to discourage them from being it. Oh, you don't know, you don't want to do that. Yeah, I do want to do that. I keep telling, don't be discouraged. Men are going to be intimidated by women that know how to play instruments. Let's be real here. Let's just be real here. When they see a woman get up on stage and she knows how to play her instruments, men are going to be intimidated by that, and they're going to try to do whatever they can to discourage you. Not all men, but a lot of them. And there are even some old school artists that I'm on the stage with that are male bands that are intimidated by Klymaxx, and I'm not going to say what their names are, but even now at this level, they are like, Klymaxx is going to be on a show? Oh, wait a minute. No. Yeah, they're intimidated by women that know what they're doing on stage. Don't let anybody discourage you from attaining your goals in music. Okay, I'm off my platform now.
Yeah, that is so. I'm encouraged right now. It's highly motivating. I'm very motivated. Can you tell all the listeners where to find you on social media or website?
Oh, sure. You can always go to our website, Klymaxx.com. That's spelled Klymaxx.com. There's actually a bio page there about me and where I got started and everything. We're on Facebook /Klymaxx Music. We're on Twitter /Klymaxx. We're on Instagram /Klymaxx Music. But all of those social media links are right there on the website. Our calendar is there. We're getting ready to start this summer touring season in Missouri City, Texas, and then on to Bakersfield, California. And so our calendar is right there. You can always go to it to see where we're going to be playing. You can write me an email, Cheryl@Klymaxx.com. I answer all of my email from the fans and people that just want to connect. I'm always on Facebook if you want to connect with me. I answer my mail. I'm not going to just ignore people. If they want to send me an email and chit chat or whatever, I'm open to that.
Well, that's great. So there you have it, ladies and gents. I would like to thank Cheryl Cooley for joining with us without me crying today. And also, if you want to catch us up on our social media and, behind the scenes, what we are up to, what we're planning on doing, you can follow us on IG, on Fret Sisters, and like us on Facebook on Fret Sisters 1. Until next time, I am Shawn Marshall. And thank you for listening, and you have a good day, night, whatever in the world you are. Bye.
What's good? This is Nicole Rose from Fret Sisters. Please don't forget to follow us on IG at Fret Sisters. You can also follow us on Facebook at Fret Sisters 1. And if you'd like to be featured in a podcast or simply have any questions, you can email us at fretsistersmusic@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for listening.